Hello students, I hope you are fine. Today we are going to start with second chapter of geography, that is forest and wildlife resources. Let's begin with the chapter Forests and Wildlife Resources. We share this planet with millions of other living beings, starting from microorganisms and bacteria, lichens to banyan trees, elephants, and blue whales. This entire habitat that we live in has immense biodiversity. We humans, along with all living organisms, form a complex web of ecological system in which we are only a part and very much dependent on this system for our existence. For example, the plants, animals, and microorganisms recreate the quality of the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the soil that produces our food. Biodiversity or biological diversity. Biodiversity or biological diversity is immensely rich in wildlife and cultivated species, diverse in form and function but closely integrated in a system through multiple network of interdependencies. Biodiversity mainly comprises of number 1 flora which means plants species and second one fauna which means animals species. India is one of the world's richest countries in terms of its vast array of biological diversity and has nearly 8% of the total number of species in the world, estimated to be 1.6 million. Some estimates suggest that at least 10% of India's recorded wild flora and 20% of its mammals are on the threatened list. Many are now categorized as critical, that is, on the verge of extinction, like cheetah, pink headed duck, mountain quail, forest spotted owlet, and plants like Maduca insignis, a wild variety of mahua. Based on the International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, in short IUCN, we can classify existing plants and animal species as follows. Number 1, normal species. Number 2, endangered species. Number 3, vulnerable species. Number 4, rare species. Number 5, endemic species. And number 6, extinct species. Now we are going to study these categories in detail. The first one is normal species. Normal species are those species whose population levels are considered to be normal for their survival, such as cattle, sal, pine, rodents, etc. And the second one is endangered species. These are species which are in danger of extinction. The survival of such species is difficult if the negative factors that have led to a decline in their population continue to operate. The examples of such species are blackbug, crocodile, Indian wild ass, Indian rhino, lion-tailed macaw, Shanghai, which is also called brow-antlered deer in Manipur, etc. The third one is vulnerable species. These are species whose population has declined to levels from where it is likely to move into the endangered category in the near future if the negative factors continue to operate. The examples of such species are blue sheep, Asiatic elephant, Gangetic dolphin, etc. The fourth category is rare species. Rare species are those species with small population may move into the endangered or vulnerable category if the negative factors affecting them continue to operate. The examples are the Himalayan brown bear, wild Asiatic buffalo, desert fox, and hornbill, etc. The fifth category is endemic species. These are those species which are only found in some particular areas, usually isolated by natural or geographical barriers. Examples are the Andaman teal, Nicobar pigeon, Andaman wild pig, Mithun in Arunachal Pradesh. And the sixth category is extinct species. These are species which are not found after searches of known or likely areas where they may occur. A species may be extinct from a local area, region, country, continent, or the entire earth. And the examples are the Asiatic cheetah, pink-head duck. The next objective of this chapter is to know the negative factors causing fearful depletion of flora and fauna. If we look around, you will be able to find out how we have transformed nature into a resource obtaining directly and indirectly from the forest and wildlife. Example: wood, barks, leaves, rubber, medicines, dyes, food, fuel, fodder, manure, etc. So it is we ourselves who have depleted our forest and wildlife. Now let us look at the reasons. The first is colonial period. The greatest damage inflicted on Indian forest was during the colonial period due to the expansion of the railways, agriculture, commercial and scientific forestry and mining activities. The second reason is increasing demand after independence. Even after independence, agricultural expansion continues to be one of the major causes of depletion of forest resources. The third reason is shifting cultivation. Substantial parts of the tribal belts, especially in the northeastern and central India, have been deforested or degraded by shifting cultivation, which is also called jhum, a type of slash and burn agriculture. The fourth cause of depletion of fauna and flora is overgrazing and fuel wood collection by the nearby villagers. The fifth cause is large-scale development projects have also contributed significantly to the loss of forest. Example: Narmada Sagar project in Madhya Pradesh, mining in Buksa Tiger Reserve in West Bengal. The sixth is habitat destruction. Habitat destruction, hunting, poaching, overexploitation, environmental pollution, poisoning, and forest fires are factors which have led to the decline in India's biodiversity. Seventh is overpopulation. Overpopulation in third world countries is often cited as the cause of environmental degradation. And the eighth cause is other important causes of environmental destructions are unequal access, inequitable consumption of resources, and differential sharing of responsibility for environmental well-being. Children, I hope you have understood the chapter. Based on your understanding, answer the questions given in worksheet. We will continue with the chapter in the next video. Thank you.